and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris, and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're joined by Patrick TOBLER, the founder of NFT Maker. It's fantastic to have Patrick with us to talk about everything NFT related and metaverse. You know, it's great to get somebody with so much experience on the show to talk about everything NFTs. Now, you know, if you're new to NFTs, this should be, you know, some fantastic content for you to learn about what to look for in an NFT project, for example. And even if you've got an experienced hand in NFTs, it should still, you know, have some fantastic content in here for you to sort of delve into. So don't forget to join us in Discord. Link is in the description of the video. We'd love to have you on Discord. It's free to join. Now, we are partnering up with NFT Maker and releasing our NFTs on the 28th of February. Now, we do have a whitelist for anybody that's interested. You know, the whitelist is available to all access Patreon members, so do check that out. Link is in the description of the video, and there's so much more information available in our Discord on the project that we're launching, so do dig in. Right, let's get down to the desktop. Let's meet Patrick and let's talk about everything NFTs.
Hi and welcome to Cheeky Crypto. It's fantastic to have you join us today to talk everything NFT Maker and NFTs. Shall we start things off with a brief introduction from yourself, Patrick?
Sure. Hi, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure as always. And yeah, I'm Patrick, as you already said. I'm the founder of NFT Maker.io, which is actually one of the first NFT minting tools on Cardano. I launched it back in the day, you know, shortly after NFTs on Cardano were a thing for the very first time, shortly after the space buds came out. And it basically exploded overnight. People were super excited about minting their own NFTs on Cardano. So I decided to really focus on that full time and build a company around it. And now we're grown to 27 people and we're minting NFTs every day. I think we've minted over 800,000 NFTs at this point. And yeah, it's been super exciting because it's really about, you know, enabling artists and enabling brands and corporations to get into the NFT scene on Cardano, and that's really what I'm trying to do, just to give that access to people basically and take away the complexity of Cardano and make it just easy for everyone. But yeah, that's me.
Super. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about NFT Maker? You know, because there's lots of viewers that we know haven't got into NFTs. They've really just focused on altcoins because, you know, that's really what we've sort of spent most of our time focusing on. So yeah, it'd be really good to sort of give people just a bit more of an in-depth sort of understanding of what NFT Maker is.
Sure, yeah, and I mean, altcoins are great. I think everyone, you know, goes this way from Bitcoin to Ethereum to altcoins and then to more exotic things like NFTs. So, you know, NFT Maker, as I said, is like a minting tool. It started out as like a very simple page where you can just upload one image and then it automatically creates an NFT for you and sends it to your wallet. But since then, it has grown into more like a full brand and full ecosystem service. So we have built another product called NFT Maker Pro, which is basically powering everything that we do. And it's like I would say like a professional API service layer solution where you could go and you could upload 10,000 images and then actually sell your 10K NFT collection through us very easily. If you're fast, you can do that in like, I don't know, an hour maybe, and set everything up. And really what we're trying to do here is take all this complexity, as I mentioned, from Cardano and make it easily accessible to anyone, also to developers. So we have this API and we're building a lot of like products on top of this NFT Maker Pro tool. So we're building like a marketplace, we're building a lot of like white label products for, you know, for example, for galleries with whom we are partnering. And that's really our like goal, to not only be a minting tool, but to have the full circle. So we want to onboard artists, onboard brands, then help them mint and get their NFT collections ready. And then also, you know, build products for the secondary market where in the end, you know, you do the secondary sales and you talk more to the customers directly and not really to the businesses, I would say.
Fantastic. And it's quite a lot going on, right? It's taken quite some time to kind of build out all of those kind of things. So actually kind of leads me into that next question. What is the achievement that you're most proud of in the crypto space? You know, you've kind of taken on quite a bit here with Cardano and NFTs, etc. What was the most kind of, I think the most proud of, I guess?
I am honestly super proud that I'm helping so many people to actually get started with Cardano and with NFTs. You know, it just feels amazing when there's like an artist who wants to do NFTs, who just has no idea how to do it, and they have this amazing project, and they come to you, and then you can actually help them make that project a reality. I think that's like one of the coolest feelings ever. I'm basically building the shovels or the tools for the gold rush. And yeah, and that just feels great. I'm also proud of a few other things, to be honest, like getting in Cardano at 3 cents. Very cool achievement.
That is amazing.
I back then I knew immediately when I bought, I knew this would be the best financial decision of my life, and yeah, and I put everything into it. As a student with very little money, unfortunately, but still amazing. But yeah, so onboarding artists is really the main one.
Cool. And you know, what is, I guess, what makes a great or successful NFT project in your eyes?
Yeah, so there are many. Yeah, it's a really good question. There are many, you know, factors of how you can define success, I would say. If you just go with, okay, if people sell out their collection, then it's success. Then that's very easy, of course. But, you know, there are also a lot of like bad projects or projects that die very quickly after selling out the collection. And you can't really call them a success, I would say. So to me personally, an NFT project is a success if it brings something new to the table and if it's interesting enough to really get adopted because of that and not really just because of the hype. I mean, if you launch an NFT project which is just here for the flippers and just here for people who want to make a quick buck with it, that might be a success to you because you might earn a lot of money with it, right? But is it sustainable? Is it here for the long term? I don't think so. So what I'm always looking for is like, are these NFT projects who are really trying to build something around the NFTs, like add some utility, or maybe just have amazing art, or build like a community around it and really make it like a joyful event to join that community. That's what I would call a success.
Fantastic. Yeah. And, you know, some of our viewers are incredibly new to NFTs, and there are obviously so many projects out there, right? And as you say, some are good, some are bad. Could you let us know from your kind of perspective, what would actually kind of constitute a red flag or a green flag before maybe investing in an NFT project?
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's a very common occurrence that people get rug pulled, and there are like really bad NFT projects or maybe even fake NFT projects. For me personally, a red flag is always if you just take a random animal and combine it with a random adjective, like, you know, the next bored apes, the next bored monkeys, or like there are so many ape and monkey projects, it's kind of unreal. Or, you know, chills, Kongs or something like that, you know, and that's maybe my personal taste, but that's a red flag to me. And then also, of course, you know, you have to be very wary about who's behind the project. Like the team is always the core. If the team is good, the project is going to be good. If the team is not good, the project is not going to be good. And in many cases, you know, the team doesn't want to dox themselves, and that's cool. I mean, that's kind of why we're in crypto to some degree, I would say. But it's always a very green flag to me if like the people are actually standing with their faces behind the NFT project, saying, okay, this is me, I put everything into this, I work really hard for this. And then once you have like that personal connection to the creators to some degree, then you can trust them more and trust that the project is going to be more than just, you know, an initial drop.
That sort of leads us into the next question. You know, so what are your thoughts on the future of NFTs and metaverse and that side of things?
I think, you know, first of all, the future of NFTs is to me very hard to define, because I view NFTs not only as, you know, art or like profile pictures or something like that. I view NFTs as infrastructure or like technology. And I think in the future, we're all going to interact with NFTs. And we are most often not even going to know that we're currently interacting with NFTs. At least that's the goal. Like, people shouldn't know that they're using an NFT right now. They should just benefit from the advantages. You can do whatever you want with NFTs. You can build a decentralized Spotify with NFTs. You can manage stock images with NFTs. You can do so many things, and that's really what I'm looking for. And regarding the metaverse, I'm very excited for the metaverse in general. I have been for a very long time, way before crypto. I played Second Life, and, you know, I'm a big gamer, and I was always, you know, under the assumption that the metaverse is like inevitable. I'm very like careful with the term metaverse in crypto. I think there are many projects who just, you know, use that term now to market themselves, to make a lot of money very quickly. And that's very annoying, honestly. But there are definitely some good metaverse projects. I'm very excited for example, the Sandbox. I think that's a very smart project. And I'm very excited for all the metaverse projects on Cardano, of course. I mean, there are multiple. I think you might be involved with one as well. Who knows? I'm not saying anything there. But, yeah, so there are like interesting projects, and I am excited to see where they lead. But I also think that the metaverse, as like a grand concept, it's not just this one project, you know, which is selling land. It has to be the combination of all these projects somehow combined together. It has to be interoperable. It has to be like one open standard that we can use to basically get into this digital realm. And the metaverse is also not only 3D. I think a lot of people think, okay, if you have a 3D character and it's decentralized and you can walk around and buy land, then that's the metaverse. But the metaverse is like the combination of that together with, for example, social media and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. And it all comes together. And we're to some degree already living inside the metaverse, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting take for sure. And yeah, super early. And I've been watching, obviously, the markets pull back. And I haven't really seen that with the NFT market. You know, we've seen that sort of like blossom even more whilst we've been pulling back, which is interesting to see. There's lots of adoption.
That's really interesting. We had in January actually the most successful month ever for NFTs on Cardano. I think only through NFT Maker we minted like 180,000 NFTs, which is like 60,000 more than our previous highest month. So yeah,
it's crazy.
That's an awful lot. A very busy month for you guys in January there.
Very busy.
But, you know, getting back onto the metaverse and NFTs, obviously, you know, you're talking about NFTs having this huge functionality and interacting with them without knowing you're interacting with them. And obviously the metaverse is going to be a very similar kind of thing, right? You're going to be interacting with it even though you're not really interacting, or know you're interacting with it. So those two things kind of go hand in hand together. I mean, what's your thoughts on the roles of NFTs inside you know, an interoperable metaverse?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, actually, because when I thought about the metaverse like a few years ago, I actually expected there to be no ownership over things. I expected everything to be just open source. Like I figured that the whole world is moving towards open source. And I thought, okay, that might be a good solution. And maybe we won't have any IPs, we won't have any ownership in the future, who knows? But in the last years, I would say, ever since, you know, NFTs and stuff like that became a thing, I realized that the people don't really want to have that. They want to have ownership over certain things. And it's just very hard to do in the digital space, because proving ownership over a certain digital asset has become or was previously very difficult. And that's basically the problem that NFTs solve, right? So in the metaverse, I expect basically to use these NFTs to prove that you are the actual owner over a certain digital asset, or maybe even not only digital, but also a physical. That might also be the case. But yeah, it's kind of like it's a very interesting development, because I truly believe that open source was the future. And now that I'm so much into the NFT scene, I completely changed my mind, because people just want to have ownership. That's what NFTs will be for in the metaverse also.
Super. And yeah, I saw something crazy on Metaverse. Well, I thought it was like crazy insane yesterday, and that was that they had the first mortgage for a property within the metaverse, which I just thought mind blowing.
That's crazy indeed.
Yeah. So I guess we're obviously partnering up for our NFT project that we're going to be launching on Cardano. You know, so maybe it's sort of time to sort of go into a bit of detail on that. Nick, do you want to sort of cover some bits off on that?
We're pleased to say that, you know, we're partnering up with NFT Maker Pro to support with the backbone and infrastructure of our NFT project based on Cardano, and kind of, you know, creating this interoperable clothing brand within Metaverse projects. Obviously, we can go into a lot more detail on the kind of things that we're kind of looking to do with the project. But, you know, it's really fantastic to have you guys kind of supporting us with delivering that, you know, vision of ours on the Cardano ecosystem.
Yeah, and we're going to be dropping 10,000 NFT VIP passes, you know, through NFT Maker to basically give people priority access to the VIP club that we're going to have within the metaverse. So we're going to hold events and that side of things, you know, with the possibility, if you didn't want to attend one of those events, that you get free access to perhaps, you know, resell on the ticket for that event if you didn't want to go to that one. But also we've got the clothing brand, and this is where it gets really interesting in the respect we're going to have a physical luxury clothing brand using sustainable materials, because obviously there's a real issue with clothing being used and going to landfill sites, for example. I think there's a silly number of dumper trucks that go to landfill every minute with silly amounts of tons of clothes that really that doesn't need to be such an issue. So we're going to have sustainable material clothing, luxury material that's been used for the actual clothing. And then you're also going to have like an NFT version of that clothing for your avatar within the metaverse, which is really like an interesting twist. The physical items you'll be able to authenticate on the blockchain, so you'll be able to literally tap your phone on it and say that you've got a ultra rare t-shirt, proof of style t-shirt that, you know, only 100 other people have, for example.
Yeah, exactly. I think it sounds extremely interesting, especially, of course, the metaverse part. That's what gets me going. I think that's really cool. And yeah, I also like, you know, this connection between the NFT world and the physical clothing part. I think that's really where we're going as like an industry in general, because those NFTs can be an authentication for the physical piece, right? And I think you're using a very cool, or we're going to help you use a very cool technology for that, called NFT Link, which I'm very excited about, and it has been very prominent in the Cardano space already. I think they work together with the Claymates as well. And of course, you know, we are going to be like your minting partners. I'm super excited for that. That's basically our bread and butter, right? It's what we do. And then it really comes down to bringing this clothing brand into not only the physical world, but also into the metaverse. And that's what I'm super excited. I want to see basically characters wearing your clothes in 𝗕𝗪𝗂 or in all these other NFT projects on Cardano, or metaverse projects rather, on Cardano. And that, you know, that club Can you tell me a little bit more about that club?
Yeah, so I mean, it could be any sort of event that gets held there. I mean, Nick's actually been working in Unreal Engine, sort of building out sort of a first draft, and we've kind of done some video footage of, you know, that first sort of draft. And I mean, it's super early, right? You know, we're probably looking for some of these games to go live maybe Q3, Q4 of this year, you know, at the earliest. So, you know, it could be a sporting event. We know that there's various different companies that are talking about, you know, doing events within the metaverse. I mean, if I use an example, I think Dana White from the UFC was talking about doing a fight within the metaverse at some point, and all of this stuff's really, really interesting. But, you know, it could be a crypto related meetup, for example. We always, you know, think it'd be cool to meet up with the community. It could be events where, you know, we have speakers from different projects talking about new events and new launches. I mean, really, it could be anything. So yeah, really interested. You know, we had one of our community members talking about auctions, you know, real life business coming into the metaverse. And I think that'd be really cool to sort of, you know, link up with some of these real life businesses and sort of bring them into the metaverse. I think all of that stuff would be really exciting. So that's kind of like the mission that we sort of set ourselves.
And like building this community around it, and building like this really tight club, basically. I think that's a very smart way of approaching it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been buying up some commercial land across different kind of Cardano metaverses. Obviously, we do hope for more interoperability in the future. You know, we are looking at trying to build out different kind of areas within that commercial land, whether that is, as Chris says, auction houses, through to stadiums and events, you know, through to the clubhouse and various different things as well. So yeah, super exciting to see how it all kind of unfolds. Yeah, I've been developing in Unreal Engine, as seems to be the most popular platform for most of these platforms so far. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it all kind of comes together and gels together at the end, but some super interesting ideas that we've been floating around with.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's very interesting that everyone is using Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
But, you know, before I did crypto, I always wanted to become a game developer. So I'm very used to all these engines and all this kind of stuff. And my favorite platform, honestly, is not Unreal Engine. It's Unity. So yeah, I'm always a little bit sad that people are using Unreal instead of Unity. But I think they're both amazing. So it doesn't really matter, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to limit ourselves. So I think at the moment we're at this stage of like we've got a broad sort of roadmap, and we're not sort of going through everything that we want to do within that roadmap. I think, you know, we would rather sort of under promise and over deliver is kind of like the way that we want to go about things. But ultimately, I kind of feel like the value will build up over time as we sort of hit certain milestones, and, you know, certain agreements with other companies are sort of, you know, agreed in writing, and that side of things is all sorted. So exciting times though.
Very exciting.
Fantastic. So is there anything else that you kind of want to leave the audience with today that we maybe haven't covered yet?
Yeah, maybe one last point. So we are actually launching a token, and it's called NMaker, and we have released our new landing page actually today, and we're going to release the new white paper also today, later today, and then we're going to launch this token in like a month approximately. There's no fixed date yet, but we're going to do like an ICO. And I think that's going to be really interesting, actually, because you know, there are many NFT projects or many like projects in crypto in general who start the other way around. They launch their token first, then build the project, and then maybe there's something good coming out of that, and maybe not. But what we did is like we built a product first, and now we're launching the token to basically take that product and the ecosystem to the next level. And yeah, and that's kind of, I hope that people can recognize that we've shown that we can actually deliver products, and thus trust us with the token. And it's really going to be an interesting journey. And I hope that I'm sure that it will elevate our whole like ecosystem to the next level.
And how would that work? You know, with the token, are you able at this point to share sort of like the utility around it?
Sure, yeah. So we have many different use cases for the tokens. I think the most interesting use case is actually around verification, because one of the biggest issues we've seen in the NFT space is that art gets stolen. That's why artists from outside the space hate NFTs, right? So what we are trying to do is we will introduce this token and we will distribute it very widely to the whole community. It's really important that a lot of people have the token instead of just a few big whales. And then basically what we will do is we will have like a staking mechanism. And by staking your tokens, you will gain a trust level. So for example, if you stake 10,000 tokens, you will have a public visible 10,000 trust level. And then people will be sure, okay, this person has at least some sort of skin in the game. And then if they see, okay, this guy did something bad, he stole art from here and from this artist who doesn't even do NFTs, for example, then they can report the user who has staked their tokens. And then there will be like a voting, like an on-chain voting by other stakeholders of the token. And then if they say, okay, this is actually legit, this person really did something bad and deserves to be punished, he will lose the tokens and thus be punished for his actions. And by having this kind of game theory way of, you know, giving people trust levels, I think we can really do something about all these fakes and about all this verification issue. And it will be very clear to customers to say, okay, this person has a very high trust level, so I can trust him more. And in addition to that, that's of course not the only solution for verification. You have to think about other things too, like connecting your social accounts and all that stuff. But it's definitely, in my opinion, a step in the right direction. And that's only one case.
Sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely an issue with a lot of fake NFTs out there. It's a big problem. It's becoming more and more apparent. You see it across lots of different platforms as well. So any kind of step in that direction is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. Can't wait to show it to you in practice.
So that was Patrick, the founder of NFT Maker. Really appreciate Patrick taking the time out of his busy schedule to talk to us today. I'm sure there was loads of value created for many of the people watching at home. If you enjoyed today's content and you want to support the channel, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.